It has been a few months since the second season of Arcane has ended, the Netflix animated TV show based on the League of Legends video game, first airing in 2022 and ending on its second and final season on November 9th, 2024. Since then, and Arcane fans have been divided, with some arguing that the final season has been rushed, a criticism I, to a certain degree, agree with. I do believe that certain storylines weren't given sufficient breathing room and thereby were ultimately unsatisfying. Yet, despite this, the second season of Arcane has still stuck the landing and cemented itself as one of the best TV shows ever made. How is that, you may ask? How can a TV show rush through its storyline and still come out the other end successful and receive critical acclaim from at least most quarters? The first storyline consisted of Jace, Victor, and Heimerdinger and revolved around the theme of progress and innovation. In the first season, Heimerdinger was skeptical toward Hextech and always advised going slow with scientific progress, while Victor was advocating in favor of scientific progress at all costs, while Jace took a middle position. In the final season, we get our answer, proving Heimerdinger correct in that scientific progress at all costs will lead to catastrophe. In the end, when Victor becomes obsessed with transcending human limitations and begins merging humans with Hextech, it is Jace that convinces him that human imperfections are what make us human, and if that is taken away from us, we lose our humanity. The second storyline, set up in the first season, focused on the two sisters of Vi and Jinx. When Jinx accidentally causes the death of her adoptive father, Vander, leading her sister to abandon her. Jinx's inability to deal with this traumatic event made her mentally unstable. But in the second season, Jinx gets to deal with her abandonment issues first with Isha, who acts for a short while at least as a substitute sister. Eventually, Jinx reconciles with Vi, making Jinx accept her identity as both Jinx and Powder, and made her embrace her true self, flaws and all. A story arc that involves the search for an identity, the loss of innocence, and trauma and its impact, and brings all these themes to a satisfying conclusion in the second season. The third main storyline involves the socio-economic dynamic between the two cities of Piltover and Zaun, the affluent city of Piltover and the impoverished undercity of Zaun. In the first season, we see the deep societal divide and power dynamics between the two cities, and we continue to see it in the second season. But it is in this storyline where the second season of Arcane begins to falter. The first season shows us the simmering tension between the two societies, which breaks out into open conflict in the end of the first season. The tension breaks out into open war in the second season, where Piltover, the city that represents wealth and privilege, continues to exploit Zaun, while its citizens are treated as second class, facing discrimination and oppression. But the final season does not resolve this conflict in a satisfying or convincing manner, where after all the conflict and struggle and bad blood between the two cities, it is seemingly resolved in the final episode with Sevika representing the Zonites being given a seat at the council. Even though this is the conclusion, it does leave a lot of things unresolved. How were the socio-economic issues resolved? How were the rich and arrogant residents of Piltover convinced to accept a second-class citizen and a criminal in their eyes from Zone to be given a seat at the governing council? These questions and others like them are left unanswered, leaving a bad taste in the audience's mouth and gives the impression that things are being rushed. In conclusion, the second and final season of Arcane was an incredible moment in TV history. From the beautiful animation, outstanding voice acting, and complex characters, it had it all. It delivered on most of its thematic questions and character arcs, with the exception of one. And since Arcane had already spoiled us in other ways, this one storyline where it falters stands out to us all the more. But to be fair, we shouldn't let this distract us from the truly magnificent feast and stunning story that was Arcane Season 2.